Hey everyone, What If Fan here, bringing you another exciting part of What If Becoming a Mangaka in One Piece World. You can find the fanfic title and the original author's name on my Patreon page. Make sure to check it out and show them some love. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. Alright, let's jump into it. Chapter 401, Intermediate Mangaka? Congratulations, the host has accumulated enough experience in the field of mangaka to raise the level of the special title Beginner Mangaka to the intermediate level. Average Mangaka. Under the influence of this title, you can manipulate the events of any manga without changing the essence. You are now a suitable mangaka, able to create a whole world with your brushes. You have obtained the power of creative origin, mysterious. Warning, the special title level cannot be raised in any other way than by accumulating experience over the years. What? Inside the private red room within his personal wing in the art store, the sounds of two mature women's moans can be heard, but suddenly, the moans stopped. Of course, because the person responsible for these moans has temporarily stopped. Rob was shocked by the different notification of the system that suddenly appeared without prior warning. Normally, the comprehensive artificial intelligence Olive is the one who gives system notifications since he obtained this feature. It's been a long time since he heard the cold voice of his system. Sorry, Bella, Sora, I need to focus at something. I'll make it up to you later. You can both return to Alvia and the others now. Dear, is it important work? Sora hugged Rob's neck affectionately, unwilling to let him go, while Belmere hugged his left hand, similarly unwilling to let go of him. After all, it's rare to have a time like this with their spouse. In fact, the supposed punishment was a pleasure for Belmere. I have something urgent to do, I need to leave immediately. I'll be back tonight. Rob quickly kissed Sora and Belmere with care before leaving. He wanted to know everything about his main title upgrade as a mangaka. After all, at the moment of this title upgrade, he felt a familiar feeling like the one he felt on the first day he arrived in the world of One Piece. Yes, on the day he got his first title, Beginner Mangaka, from the Divine Network. As he left the art store, Rob noticed something strange. He felt as if he could touch anything and everything in the world at this moment. No, more accurately, he felt that he could touch the invisible lines of the world's template creation, as if he could touch the air and modify it according to his desire. As if he could erase anything he didn't like from the world and change it according to his desire, also. Not only in this date, 1497 of the Sea Calendar, the era of manga, but he can control all dates, whether from the past or the future. Of course, after that moment, the feeling of being overwhelmed disappeared. It was all just an illusion produced by the mysterious ability he got through his new title, which brought him closer to the origin of the world, the power of creative origin. I don't know why, but I felt a sense of familiarity about this ability. Something similar to the strange space inside Imu's third eye from that day. Strange. Rob jumped into the air and turned into lightning and disappeared quickly from Ohara. He was heading towards Sky Island. A peaceful place like that is a suitable environment to understand his new mysterious ability. While Rob was in a daze, the inhabitants of the world continued to enjoy the excitement of One Piece with passion that cannot be matched. Of course, not all the inhabitants of the world, at least 1/4 of the world's population, since Rob counted plus 100 million people who read his manga, at least once. In Ohara, Brook was fully enjoying his own arc, finally appearing again in the manga where he fell, the last one to fall off the bridge that Frankie knocked down, drawing attention to everyone. Yah-ho-ho-ho. This is my moment of glory. Who dares to jump from a tall building and fall to his death? Oh, I forgot that I'm already dead, yah-ho-ho-ho. Clover and Vegapunk laughed at Brook's joke. It turns out that the legendary samurai Ryuma uses your shadow to move, Brook-san. Clover said in surprise with wide eyes. I already expected that from the moment he appeared. Vegapunk looked at him with contempt. Was the world really that stupid, or was he just extremely smart? You have inhuman analytical abilities, so you can infer anything before it's shown in the manga. You can even create a forum for hypotheses and surpass Odachi if you want. You have the ability to spoil the story on the author. Ha ha ha. I already know a lot about devil fruits too, and after reading many books from your tree of omniscience I already understand a lot of facts. Well, Vegapunk, be quiet. These kids have heard what you said. Not far from Vegapunk's group, Doflamingo and Rosinante and Enel were already listening to the conversation between Vegapunk and Clover. Fufufu, we've heard something interesting to pay attention to. Yes, who would have expected that big head guy to know the secrets of the devil fruits? Enel said with shiny eyes. Should we tell the teacher? Rosinante asked wisely. Of course, maybe the teacher will reward us if we tell him. Shoo, be quiet, they're looking at us. Marine Ford. Number 900. A new zombie? What could it be, I wonder? This Perona is only a 16-year-old girl, she hasn't been born yet in this age. That means the ghost's fruit is still undiscovered. A great fruit with a strong curse power, we need to get it. Sengoku nodded with his head on Tsuru's idea. The world government also created their own treasure rooms, so they may have already obtained the ghost's fruit and Absalom's stealth fruit long ago. I hope so. We need to strengthen ourselves just like the Hunters Guild, otherwise the new balance will collapse and we will lose this battle. Sengoku, Tsuru, Zephyr too. The Hunters Guild is already stronger than us, so it's time to face reality. Garp said while tapping his nose. You're just being silent. Sengoku shouted up. Fishman Island. Wow. Great. I will become very strong in the future, just like my teacher Tom. Little Frankie's eyes sparkled while looking at his fight with the spider monkey in the manga. Ta ha ha ha. Yes, you defeated this spider monkey perfectly, Frankie. Tom was pleased with this part of the chapter, his disciple got his right in the manga so far. Chapter 402, Brook is not an ordinary skeleton. On Fishman Island, readers were in a state of confusion all the time, whether from the general public or even King Neptune himself. Allowing them to find out the wonders and facts of the world above the surface, so the reactions of the Fishman race were more severe than that of humans. Among all 10 Fishman race people, at least 7 people have put an expression of great shock about the insane events in Thriller Bark on the global forum. Underscore 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 global forum underscore 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 Safina, Fishman Island, Kia. How can there be such grotesque creatures as zombies in the world? I don't want to think about going above the surface anymore. 1.4K liked this tweet. 506 replied to this tweet. 67 shared this tweet. Author's note, ordinary people can still post one tweet a day on the global forum. Underscore 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 Arlong white heavy checkmark. Fishman Island, a lot of empty tweets about the horror of Thriller Bark. Stop it, weaklings. This Moria only relies on the devil fruit, it's not as strong as it looks. 1M liked this tweet. 609K replied to this tweet. 67K shared this tweet. Replies, Shiki white heavy checkmark, stop comparing yourself to humans, Fishman. Moria white heavy checkmark, ha. Oh, what a joke from a fish who lost in the first chapters. Fisher Tiger at Moria, don't talk bad about our race, we want peaceful relations with humans, not with people like you. King Neptune Crown at Arlong, at Fisher underscore Tiger, let them say what they want, we are fish after all. Plus. Brook white heavy checkmark, West Blue, O'Hara Island yohohohoho, musical note, I finally got the blue label. 13M liked this tweet. 908K replied to this tweet. 500K shared this tweet. Brook removed his eyes, shocked by the huge numbers of people who are interacting with him after getting the blue label, and with a thundering heart looked at the manga page to be more shocked than that. Here I am again, yahohoho. It's really your fighting style. That's why it's clear that you are the first person to know the user of your shadow, right Brooksan? Yahohoho. It looks like I can't hide it from your wise eyes anymore, Clover-san. Well, no wonder. The person who knows its features best is that person himself. Clover sighs while seeing the eye-catching display of the fun skeleton on the manga page. One Piece events. Huh? What's that? Who's that? Who's singing that song? The attention of the spider monkey, who was preparing to trap his prey Robin and Frankie with his spider web and send them to the realm of shadows with the sound of a person singing. Yahohoho, no, so you did enter this island after all? Robin was surprised to see the skeleton appearing above the spider monkey's web smoothly. How did you come from down dash? Brooke quickly replied, I jumped. Since I'm light, I cannot be helped if you, unfortunately, did come here. I should tell you everything about this island. The spider monkey glared at Brooke with hatred before asking, Hey you. Who are you? You're not a zombie. Are you another comrade of the pirates? When the spider monkey sees Brooke, Frankie quickly shouts a warning, Hey! Skeleton! Brooke replied quickly and in a shocking way. The show of the strange skeleton had already ended before it began. Don't mind. It is all right. Since I am finishing this. Frankie. Brooke returned the sword to the scabbard smoothly before saying in a cold voice from the depths of hell. Humming 10 feet. Arrow notch strike. Yahaza Giri. When Brooke finished closing the sword in the scabbard, the spider monkey's back was cut off smoothly. It was an immediate loss. Vegapunk, Clover, Doflamingo, Enel, Rosinante, and even the goddesses of the store who managed to read this scene looked into Brooke with wide eyes. The king of showmanship without dispute. Oh, man. This is amazing. Wow, what a powerful sword skill. How did you do that, Brooke-san? Teach me. I want to defeat Mihawk in sword skills. Rosinante stepped away from his group and sat near Brooke, who appeared to be reminiscing about his father, as he regained his normal body inside the art store. Yahohoho. I can definitely teach you, but Rob-sama will be mad at me for stealing his disciple. Brooke said jokingly. No problem. I'll talk to the teacher about it. Please teach me that trick. It's amazing. Hearing this, Doflamingo blared at his younger brother. He had the speed fruit that could make him the fastest man in the world if he developed it swiftly, but he wanted to delay it until he learned a cheap trick. You fool, he relies on his speed to perform that trick, you're faster than him so it's pointless for you. New World, Wano Country. Respected sword skills. Really, this skeleton is amazing, I really want to know his background. A certain samurai smiled while reading this scene from the manga. It was spring, and enjoying the breeze while reading the manga was an addiction at this stage for Denjiro. Yahohoho. Even his laughter is enjoyable, Daguzaru. Is he the original owner of the shadow that moves the sword god's corpse? That alone is enough to qualify him as a great swordsman. See? He really killed the zombie. This black thing, what is it? Soul, huh? It looks like a shadow. The Akazayas were captivated by the events in the manga at this stage. Far from Kuri, in the flower capital. The angry samurais were still sore, at least until they finished reading the volume completely, and at that time they could go looking for Moria after getting to know him well from the manga. For this reason, Mihawk and Isho were comfortably in their seats while reading the manga calmly. He's truly a swordsman, I thought he was joking at the time. Seeing Brooke's skill in combat, Mihawk could only compliment him in his heart. I also thought he was joking. In any case, a bone body without any flesh cannot become a swordsman. In this case, he certainly relies on his soul's power, just like Dash. Shinigami. Mihawk spoke the last word with fiery eyes. Shinigami were the masters of swords in Mihawk's heart after everything. I need to meet him and ask him about it in the nearest time, perhaps he can greatly assist me. Chapter 403, the manga requires Moria to change his future plans. One Piece events. You stopped him completely. What did you do? Frankie was still trapped inside the dead giant gorilla spiderweb, but he had already begun to try to escape. Brooke answered calmly, I purified him. Suddenly, one of the mouse spiders pointed to Brooke and exclaimed in shock. Look! It's definitely him. Humming. The man who messed up Thriller Bark 5 years ago. Brooke! We need to inform the master. Brooke paid no attention to the spiders running away, but instead looked at Frankie and weakly informed him of the weakness of the spider web. Hiya, this spider web is strong against power but weak against fire. Following Brooke's advice, Frankie immediately began blowing fire from his mouth. That's true. It loosens up. After freeing himself from the spider web, Frankie looked at Brooke and asked him his questions. Straw Hat and the others were kidnapped. It seems that you know a lot about this island. Brooke nodded in agreement. He already knew a lot about this ship island. Yes, but where should I start? If they have already been caught, there is a high chance that we're already too late. Hearing this, Frankie had an angry reaction. What does this skeleton mean that they're already too late? What? Too late, you say? Brooke quickly tried to calm Frankie's violent mood, but quickly went south. PL, please don't shout so much. My ears will start ringing. But wait. Since I'm a skeleton, I don't have ears. Yo ho ho. Skull joke. Frankie's face shot his hand towards the skeleton, ready to smash him with his silly jokes. Robin, stop it, he's already dead. Brooke, anyways, please listen without fooling around. This time Frankie's anger rose even more. Who was fooling around at this moment? Robin also became more serious in preventing Frankie from exploding. Brooke, stop it. He's already dead. Brooke lifted his hat from his forehead before starting to talk. Like I said before, there was a time when my ship's rudder didn't work, and I drifted all alone in the sea for dozens of years. As much as I wanted to escape from this devil sea, the rudder was broken, so I was just drifting with the tides. Then, by chance, I arrived here 5 years ago. I was lured onto this Thriller bark, just like you ladies and gentlemen. I, who wanted to get out of this Florian triangle at any cost, went around this island thinking that maybe they had the parts to fix my rudder. But all I found were monsters and zombies. In the end, I was caught and brought to that building. Frankie. Brooke continued, what I saw inside was the struggling dancer who had been caught before me, and a patched corpse they called Mario. When I looked up, a scary, big man appeared and he pulled the man's shadow off of the floor. And he cut it off. Robin. Frankie, he cut off his shadow. Brooke answered, regretting it, I would have doubted my eyes too. But I don't have eyes. Frankie exploded with anger, stop it or I'll hit you, you bastard. Even Robin gave him permission to hit him, you can hit him now. West Blue, O'Hara. Inside art store. Ha 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 ha. Gog haga. Ka ha 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 ha. Ha ha ha. I'm laughing so hard. Skull jokes are funny. Ha 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 ha. Frankie lost control. Ha 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 ha. Even Robin, who is hard to get angry, is made to laugh by Brooke's skull jokes. My stomach hurts. Ha 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 ha. Everyone laughed hard inside the O'Hara's art store. Not just O'Hara, similar scenes and conversations were repeated in all the art stores in the pirate world. The likeness of the skeleton's blood caused many people to laugh. This scene was reflected in Brooke's eyes, who was looking at many people who laughed because of the previous scene in the manga. Complicated feelings were reflected on his face, but in the end, he smiled and started laughing hard until tears from laughing flowed freely. Ya ho ho ho. This time I already have tears. West Blue, Thriller Bark Island. After accepting the invitation of the world government to become one of the Shichibukai in their ranks, Moria continued reading the manga with anxiety. Accepting the invitation of the world government means that he decided to consider Sky Sword Rob as an enemy, since he and the world government are enemies. Moria took this decision because of the deep hatred he had for Rob. He will never forget that day when Rob humiliated him and made him laugh in madness just for his own enjoyment. Since that day, Moria has strongly hated Rob as his greatest enemy, but he didn't dare to act against him. Especially after getting one of his enemy's shops, Moria believed that Rob does not know about him yet, and if he does, he will definitely reclaim it. Therefore Moria quickly came up with a plan to convert Thriller Bark into a ship as soon as possible and run away, so that Rob couldn't reclaim his shop at that time. I will never go to the Devil's Sea again. Ki-shi-shi-shi. The world is vast, there are many mysterious places like Florian Triangle, this time all thanks to you, I will avoid all future accidents. I will quietly develop far away from the eyes using the great ideas you gave me from solo leveling. Then after many years when I become strong enough, I will come back to kill you. Ki-shi-shi-shi-shi-shi. But I will kill Kaido first. And that old hag Shiki who looks from his interactions with Kaido on the forum as if they formed an alliance. After acknowledging his plans and laughing at the content of his heart, Moria returned to reading the manga. You are the scary one here, you skeleton freak. After reading what Brook said about him, Moria almost flipped the table in anger, but he remembered that doing so would cost him safety points with the smart shop and enabled him to control his anger. Do it! Hit him this time, Frankie, I support you too. Kesha Shishi, I really hit him. I'm happy to see the skeleton freak suffer. Curse. My abilities have become a general encyclopedia. This is bad. Seeing Brook talking about the Kage no Mi and its ability to steal shadows of people and move dead bodies through it, in addition to exploiting the feature of the surgical companion to create perfect bodies, made Moria's face turn green from anger. I need that now. I must change the way I develop my fruit abilities to a completely different direction, or else I won't be able to threaten anyone as long as all my secrets are now revealed in the manga. Damn it! West Blue, Ilka Island. Jigoro glared at the events of the manga with eyes full of anger. Is this his fate in the future? Death after killing 7,000 pirates to protect my family is a brave death, I would be happy to die that way. Until now, I've killed 1,000 pirates only out of 7,000 at the age of 56 years. Or to put it more accurately, it was supposed to happen if it weren't for the existence of the shop. Since Jigoro was able to deduce such scary facts, there is no shortage of smart people on Ilka Island. This is why many people breathed a sigh of relief after reaching the same conclusion. Rob completely saved Ilka Island just as he did with O'Hara, from Buster Call, and Ueno, from the results of the battle with Emu. Chapter 404, Moria Shock. West Blue, Thriller Bark. The best moment that the main character from the manga of One Piece experiences is the moment when sees their first appearance in One Piece. The same thing for Gecko Moria, who has been eagerly awaiting his first appearance since the new arc was promoted in the store posters for weeks. Now Moria was reading the latest views before his appearance with a troubled heart. How will I look after 23 years from now? What he cared about most after his strength was his appearance. Of course, he didn't want to become ugly, he was the last of the Oni race. He loved this race in a special way, the distinguished appearance of them. Note from the author, not much has been mentioned about Moria's race by Oda. It can be said that it was completely ignored despite the fact that it is clearly obvious that Moria is not human, he is humanoid but not pure human. That's why I created an OC race and gave it to him. This is fanfic anyway, most of my ideas will be shot down by Oda after the story is over. It's good that I was able to predict that Buggy will become a Yonko at the beginning of the story, faced with tears of joy. Moria's current age is 28 years, his appearance looks relatively acceptable, with fiery red hair, a blue-tending complexion, a mouth full of sharp teeth, 2 small horns, and a scar that was stitched in the middle of his forehead. He wears One Piece events. Mass Steer. Some ordinary zombies ran towards the main hall in Moria's palace to inform him of something important. They seemed very urgent. The 3 enigmas have gathered. So fast. Let them in. Moria's voice sounded high-pitched in a strange way. As soon as he said that, Hogback, Absalom, and Perona entered the main hall confidently. They stood in front of a giant, overweight man with a sinister smile on his face. Oh. So you all came. Kishi shishishishi. Make me the pirate king quickly. Immediately. Shichibukai Gecko Moria, former bounty, 320 million berry. Hearing that, Luffy, who was placed in a cage, shouted, "What's with the Pirate King talk? The one who'll be the pirate king is me. Hey! Unite this rope, you huge leak! Luffy continued to shout without any effect, "Give Usopp, Nami, Chopper, Sanji, and Zoro back to me. Where have you taken them?" Finally seeing the famous Straw Hat, even Dr. Hogback was excited. What a powerful man! So this is Straw Hat Luffy? Moria's eyes widened after seeing all of this. For a moment he felt dizzy from the shock of the scene, especially for him. By the hell! Is this how I will be after more than 20 years? Impossible! Moria almost hit the table with anger, but he managed to control himself when he remembered that he would be the one to feel the pain if he did so. Well, no problem, I will try to overcome the current situation by regularly practicing physical training. I will not fall into the trap of laziness, the curse. After encouraging himself, Moria continued reading the manga with passion. Oh my god! I really managed to capture the shadow of Luffy. What do I see? This time Moria's eyes almost burst out of her sockets from the shock. Where is the broken conspiracy armor of this kid? How did you manage to take his shadow so easily? Impossible. Something is not right here. Seeing that he managed to cause great harm to Zoro, Sanji, and Luffy by stealing their shadows made Moria very shocked. How could all of this be so easy? As a passionate reader of manga and One Piece, he knew the fate of these companions after everything. He did not expect to be the first enemy to achieve such a great achievement against the Straw Hat crew. Not only Moria was shocked by this chapter. All readers around the world were also shocked, including Luffy's grandpa, who exploded in anger. Marineford! What the curse? How did you allow him to take your shadow so easily? Idiot grandson! Foolish grandson! Garp's roar spread in the sky of Marineford, scaring the soldiers and their families. Garp couldn't believe what he had just witnessed. His beloved grandson, Luffy, had been defeated so easily by Moria. He had always known that Luffy was a powerful pirate, at least in the first half of Grand Line, but he never thought that his shadow would be the key to his defeat. He felt a mix of anger and frustration as he thought about the gravity of the situation. As a marine hero, Garp had faced many powerful enemies and had always come out victorious. He couldn't understand how his grandson and his crew could have been defeated by someone like Moria. Chapter 405, Luffy's Shadow Extraction. Marineford. Seeing how a young girl like Perona destroyed Luffy's spiritual being with her negative ghosts made Garp unable to speak, before exploding with anger from the next scene of his grandson's loss. Wow, she has an extraordinary ability. Anyway, I don't think she would work against a powerful haki user. Sengoku shook his head after hearing Tsuru's words, before raising a question that has always puzzled people like them. Specifically, I'm wondering why nothing has been mentioned about haki and its types since the beginning of the story until now. Isn't this strange? Even a captain from the Marine headquarters like Smoker doesn't know how to use haki. It hasn't been spoken about before, even though it's known that he wouldn't graduate from the headquarters without mastering the basics of haki types. Inside Sengoku's office was only he, Garp, and Tsuru present. The three admirals and the assistant admiral Zephyr had already left to plan for their mission assigned to them by the fleet admiral. Garp, it seems that you didn't teach your grandson anything except throwing him off cliffs and making him experience the harshness of nature. Garp looked at Sengoku while digging his thumb into his nose as if saying, "What? Are you talking about me?" Garp, who was in the manga, had different circumstances than me now. I know a lot about my grandson and his future, so of course, if I got the same grandson this time, my treatment of him would be different. Tsuru felt a tightness in her chest for some reason after hearing this. As an unmarried, childless woman, she felt a little bitter taste. Not only did she realize that she might have ignored something extremely important all this time. After seeing herself as an old and short woman in the manga, she felt a great sense of disappointment and sadness over how much she had changed over the years to reach that point. Time was certainly not merciful. Seeing Tsuru's disappointed expression pained Sengoku's heart for this unrelated matter quickly. By the way, have you found your son yet or not? Maybe he's already met Luffy's mother. Don't mention that. The runaway dragon has already entered the hidden dragon mode, it's impossible to find him. He may be in a random art store. Where should I start searching? I don't know, just tell those fuckers Gorosei and the female lord on their heads to search for him themselves. I have no relation to him. In the art store of Sorbet Kingdom. Ho. Dragon sneezed strongly, interrupting his immersion in the manga events for the moment. It seems that Vice Admiral Garp is cursing you again, Captain Fufufu. Iva, stop being so obvious, don't forget our mission here, Dragon said. When we finish, you'll return to the Kamabaka Kingdom. He added. Upon hearing this, Crocodile felt extremely happy. As if he had finally been saved. Damn it! What's happening with Luffy? Can't he use the second gear to explode the damn armor he's wearing with the spider web that binds him? Back in the Marine Headquarters office, Garp is still agitated by the current events in Marineford. Silly. He wants to become a sea cucumber. What about the Pirate King? Veins appeared on Garp's forehead after seeing this ridiculous scene, while Sengoku muffled his laughter after seeing his angry friend's reaction. One Piece events. The negative hollows released by Perona through Luffy's body caused a repeat of the previous scene. If I could be reborn. I want to be a sea cucumber. I'm gonna die. Seeing this scene, even Absalom felt compassion for Luffy, making the man who said he'd be the Pirate King a sea cucumber is cruel. After a minute, Luffy was stripped of his armor, tied up and suspended on a vertical rope, then Moria ordered to turn on the lights behind Luffy. Hit the lights. It appeared that Luffy had regained consciousness, but he was already too late. What are you doing? Damn it. I'll remember this, you guys. Wah? Luffy's words stopped in his throat when he saw a ridiculous scene. His shadow was extracted from the ground by Moria as if it were a physical thing. Huh? What's that? My shadow. With a sinister smile, Moria cut Luffy's shadow off his body using scissors, causing Luffy to lose consciousness afterwards. Fufufu, Dr. Hogback laughed after seeing this scene. Kishishishishi. Moria couldn't contain his excitement after capturing a strong shadow in his hand. I've got it. A fighting strength worth 300 million berry. With this, the strongest special zombies in history will be born. What's happening? Curse. At this moment, Garp's loud voice echoed throughout Marineford. Strange, why didn't Luffy resist before that? Even Sengoku felt a sense of attachment to the matter. If he resisted, we wouldn't be able to see how Moria steals the shadows of his victims. It was somewhat exciting. Tsuru said with a concerned expression. No need to worry, Garp, hasn't your grandson and his crew lost before? This is natural. This Moria will be defeated later. Tsuru added. Sengoku. Why did you send Mangaka to deliver the invitation to that wharf instead of me? Garp asked with an annoyed tone. What? Didn't I suggest that to you first, but you refused? Garp's eyes widened when he heard this. He shook his head calmly while he was recalling past memories. Oh, right. It looks like I missed a golden opportunity to feed the bloodthirsty bastard my special hatred fist. When did you have a fist by this name? As far as I know, you only have a love fist. I made it specifically for Moria. He's a Shichibukai now, it's not allowed for you to harm him. Sengoku trembled after seeing Garp's fierce expression. On an unknown island in the first half of the Grand Line, a proud pirate ship can be seen anchored near the shore. The ship appeared red and luxurious. In the middle of it there is a huge egg that holds some intriguing secrets. Yes, this was the ship of the Pirate King who earned this title early enough to reach the peak of his life. Oro Jackson. Wahahaha. Unlike Garp, Roger laughed loudly at the scene of Luffy being beaten. Ha 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 ha. From a Pirate King to a sea cucumber. Hilarious. As he drank sake, Roger couldn't contain his laughter. The scene was too funny after all. Touching truly, ha ha ha. It reminded me of our adventures in the first half of the Grand Line when we were still ignorant of the sky's height like them. Even Gaban was enjoying the manga so far. The same goes for the other crew members. Oh man, what a weak this kid who you chose to inherit the captain's will. What did you say? With a few murmurs, another battle broke out between Buggy and Shanks. Dear, what do you think of this arc so far? Rouge, Roger's wife, asked as he was still reading the manga with a smiling expression. It's good, intriguing. It looks like Moria has a story in the New World too. We'll see later how the situation develops. Either way, his crew is still just a crew from paradise. If Luffy and his companions can't surpass them, it's best for them to withdraw from the piracy domain. Captain, how long will we wait for Rayleigh-san here? When will he return? Shanks, the trainee of Roger's crew, asked. He said he's already on his way, let's wait for him calmly. Chapter 406, Frozen Legend. As is known, the Roger pirates were waiting for the return of their vice-captain who had gone to assist Shaki in the previous raid on the pirate island led by the Hunters Guild. But during that, they were enjoying the current events in the manga One Piece. After the scene of Luffy's shadow extraction, something made them gasp in shock. Even Roger and his wife felt a huge shock they hadn't felt since they saw Ace for the first time in the manga. Of course, that thing was Special Zombie number 900 from Moria's zombie army. Far from Paradis, in the second half of the Grand Line, the New World, the members of a famous pirate crew were also confused by their situation. The whale-like ship, Moby Dick, stopped on the shore of the New World's Manga Island. Next to it stopped several other ships bearing the pirates' flags. The largest ship among them had a large Jolly Roger with a red skull and large horns. All these ships surrounded by Moby Dick were multiple crews following the Whitebeard pirates. Yes, that was the case, and this island named Manga Island was chosen because it was within Whitebeard's territory, where it was chosen to be a gathering point for this meeting. Since Whitebeard obtained an art store on his main ship, he organized these gatherings to give his allies and other sons some benefits from the art store. After all, Whitebeard was known for being very kind to the crews they chose to follow him as their leader. After One Piece manga became very popular all over the world, including the New World, many people who couldn't get it in the New World due to the shortage of art stores, started looking for diverse sources to get it. In the case of Whitebeard's subordinate crews, it was fortunate for them that Whitebeard's own ship was the closest and best source of manga for them. That's why once a month, Whitebeard's crew would almost insist on gathering on this island named Manga Island for this reason, so they could gather and read the manga. Among the crews, there is a new crew under the flag of Whitebeard. The leader of this crew was strange in the literal meaning of the word. He was a giant. And not just any giant, but a giant of a different mutated race from the usual giants. He could be called a devil among giants. A few years ago, he led his crew called Little Pirates to cause chaos and turmoil in the New World, for worse or for better, caused turmoil in islands under Whitebeard's territory and which caught Whitebeard's personal attention. After being defeated by Whitebeard, he swore allegiance to him and became one of his followers, and this is something that Whitebeard did not reject, as he found this devil among giants background extremely interesting. With green skin resembling the leaders of the orcs in games, horns resembling Kaido and lower fangs resembling ancient beasts, thick red hair, and a body that is 60 meters tall, which can be compared to 3 giants in one go. Despite his colossal body and strange shape resembling a mixture between a humanoid and a devil, he appeared lively and young and has a strange kind of childishness in his eyes. This devil among the giants was Little Oars Jr., the leader of the Little Pirates and a member of the Whitebeard Pirates. At only 47 years old, it was clear that he was still a child in his own tribe. It is worth noting that he was the last member of his tribe after both of his parents died in one of the secret government raids on dangerous tribes. On a high hill, Little Oars Jr. was carrying a huge book in his hand that was specifically assigned to him by the Whitebeard Pirates. Alongside him were his crew members who wore Oars Jr.-like clothes. They also carried manga volumes specific to them. Everyone was reading manga and laughing. This is what they had grown accustomed to after all. The harsh and high-pitched voice of Little Oars was particularly annoying every time he reacted with manga events, but no one complained about it. His crew members loved him after all. The Whitebeard Pirates were not far from the Little Pirates gathering. Whitebeard read manga with a dull expression while flipping through the pages. Until now the progression of the events did not please his passion. Only when Moria was able to successfully extract the shadow of Luffy, Whitebeard laughed. Garararara! It seems that this kid has truly suffered a loss this time. Whitebeard commented with a smiling expression. This type of unexpected event had a special taste for him. Yes, Oyaji. I wonder what kind of zombie will move the shadow of Luffy Ua. Even Marco felt expectations for it. The events so far had already been good, but it seemed that this event would be a turning point in the arc. Look, it seems they won't kill Luffy. This is good. At the moment I thought about it, fortunately dash. Ha ha. And as if the protagonist of the story will die so easily, look at what Brook is saying to Frankie and Robin. If the shadow's owner dies, the shadow will also fade. And this is natural. Oh. What a battle it will be between the shadow's owner Brook and the zombie Ryuma. Odin-sama. Who do you think will win in that battle? Aizu asked with enthusiasm. Do you even need to ask? It's obvious that the corpse of Ryuma will win, he has sure sway after all. Odin was convinced of this. After that, the Whitebeard pirates discussed this topic and the battle between the corpse of Ryuma and Brook with great enthusiasm. Suddenly, the Whitebeard's eyes widened, and the same thing for Marco, Vista, Jozu, and on the side Little Oars Jr. What he saw in the manga caused Little Oars Jr. to stop thinking and enter into great turmoil. Whitebeard repeated what he read on the manga page with astonishment as he looked at the huge corpse of his new son's ancestor. Now then. Time for his resurrection. Histories only. The insane warrior called a devil. One Piece events. Special zombie number 900's Freezer's Passage. This will be exciting. While walking through the passage leading to the freezer room, Moria was excited. When I saw his dead body in the frozen country, I couldn't stop myself from trembling. To think 500 years ago this repulsive thing ravaged the seas, it's breathtaking. Raiding each country, the island was taken back to their land. It became known as a country of villains. Cold Absalom felt the intense cold in this place. Moria continued, the man who was dubbed their ringleader, the legendary continent puller whose name held sway around the world, was in that place. Hogback laughed, the absolute beast from which to make a zombie. Moria continued, and another legend will be revived, Keshishishi. Now then. Time for his resurrection. Histories only. The insane warrior called a devil. Oars. A red devil, extremely frozen and repulsive, appeared. Only by looking at his dead body could one's heart be filled with terror. On his left hand was written, SZ-900. Marigoa, Bang Aea Castle. Emu opened her bloodshot eyes wider than usual as the frozen form of Oars reflected in them. Interesting, truly breathtaking. So this little devil from that time has already died in this manner, magnificent. Seeing this familiar person brought back some memories for Emu and made her feel an immense sense of happiness. It seemed that the time had come for another move. Chapter 407, Kaido and Shiki Reaction. One Piece events. Let's begin. Moria looked at the large corpse of Oars with a passionate smile while gripping Luffy's shadow, who wants to be freed with strong determination. The same thing for the other four mysteries, Perona, Absalom, and Dr. Hogback. They were all waiting for the final moment of the Frozen Legends resurrection ceremony. Only Usopp, Chopper, and Nami, who were hidden in the stuffed corpse, were troubled by what was happening. What's that? That GI giant. Corpse. He is huge, even for a giant. Usopp forgot his feeling of coldness due to the shock caused by seeing such a huge monster. Chopper. Ugh. Ugh. Nami, don't make a sound, Chopper. Hold it in. Returning to Moria, he had already begun to freeze Luffy's shadow in order to apply it. Be still, Straw Hat Luffy's shadow. I'm your new master. After hearing that, Luffy's shadow had already stopped moving. You will live as a zombie from now on. I'll give you a voice and flesh. Forget everyone you knew in the past. Abide my will and become my soldier. Luffy's shadow agreed to Moria's contract. Kashishishishi. Contract complete. Now, awaken. From your 500-year sleep. Moria threw Luffy's shadow easily towards Oars's corpse, which entered smoothly. After a few seconds, the palace began to shake, causing the night bats to fly away in fear. Usopp's eyes almost fell out of their sockets after seeing the huge corpse start to move. But after opening his fearful eye, the three cowards couldn't bear their fear anymore and screamed loudly, causing their reveal. Jai-o-ah-ah-ah-ah. Moria, what's that? Nami said while shaking, but quickly closed her mouth. The corpse's Movi dash. Perona, hey Kamashii. Don't tell me you've been hiding the pirates. Or stood up but broke the huge chains that were binding his body. Me-e-e-e-e-o-a-it. I-a-am hu-you-wangri-i-e. Wha? Sanji. Food. Whom? Who is Sanji? These were the first words of the most terrifying zombie in history. New World, Urura Island. I take back my previous words, this Moria is truly intriguing. Jahahahaha. He wants to take revenge on you, Kaido, using an ancient giant from a buried history. This truly shows the need to cut the grass. Do you regret letting him run away now, Kaido-yo? Golden Lion asked. Kaido poured a single shot of sake barrel into his mouth. After draining it, he wiped his mouth and showed a fierce smile on his face. Hewararo. Isn't it fun doing it this way? Defeat the insect. And leave a path for his life. He will go and become stronger, then he will come back looking for you. Defeat him again and leave another path for his life. Then he will come back again after becoming stronger, then beat him again, and this cycle of events will repeat until one of you dies. Isn't that the thrill of life? Wararararo. The thrill of life is in the pursuit of death. Shiki's eyebrows twitched after hearing that. Crazy. That's what he was thinking. Either way, what's your opinion on this special zombie? I've heard many legends about this extinct race dash. It's not extinct yet, Kaido said. What? Shiki was surprised to hear such news from Kaido. King. Tell this old man what you know. On the side, King took his eyes off the manga book and looked at Kaido with a cold gaze. Isn't Queen the appropriate person to ask about this? After all, he's responsible for the experiments on the ancient giant dash. Stop exposing my experiments, you rogue. After hearing that, Queen shouted in anger. Hush, there's only one original purebred left of the ancient giant race, and it's now under the control of the Whitebeard pirates. After hearing the name Whitebeard, Shiki's expression changed. Damn! Newgate got something good again. So what about the experiments on the ancient giant race then? I'm interested in knowing more about it. Shiki, can you also tell me about your future plans? Shiki stopped trying to find out more about this matter. It was not profitable for him to provoke Kaido's anger. Either way, he already knew that Queen, one of the three disasters following Kaido, was one of the key members of the infamous group of scientists called MADS previously, so it was obvious that he knew many useful things. It's great to be allied with Kaido. Jahahahaha. That's what Shiki thought at this moment. Luffy. Oh, no. Keep Luffy-san's shadow away from that huge beast. Woo woo. Little Yamato screamed loudly after seeing this scene, and the situation got worse when Absalom attacked Nami and kidnapped her again. The small bird tried his best to calm down the mood of little Yamato, but to no avail. Yes. Look, Big Bro, and Robin has arrived to save the situation. Yay! But soon Yamato's mood became joyful again after seeing the arrival of Frankie and Robin, who saved Usopp and Chopper. Thriller Bark Island. Kashishishishi. Kishishishishi. Moria lost control of himself at this moment, where he was laughing so hard to the point of tears. This chapter was extremely enjoyable for him. It was the best chapter he ever read. He, the future Shadow Lord. He was able to conquer the protagonist of the story and take his shadow by force and awaken a forgotten devil from the world. If this isn't exhilarating, what could be more exhilarating? Despite Moria being currently unsatisfied with his appearance, ugly, in the manga, he was still completely content with his intelligence and luck and his ability in the manga. This is great. I wonder when I'll go to the land of ice and get such a legendary corpse.
Currently, it is clear that Moria has not yet obtained Or's corpse.
No. If I don't hurry to get that ancient giant corpse now, many people will take it before me. Now, Moria only realized that he might have become too far behind in obtaining Or's corpse again.
Chapter 408, The Devil Giant. One Piece Events. Gomu Gomu no Pistol.
In the manner of Luffy, Or's attempted to stretch his arm to destroy the wall. The wall has already been destroyed, but it seems that his arm did not stretch.
Wait, you. This is it. Oars are escaping outside.
The rest of the zombies felt panic upon seeing this scene, unlike Moria, who still had a sinister smile on his face.
That's strange. I had a feeling that my arm would stretch, but... well, whatever. I will become the Pirate King. Or shouted out loudly using Luffy's exclusive words. Returning to the Roger pirate crew. The crew of Roger was speechless as they witnessed these strange events in the manga. What amazing devil fruit, it can even revive something like this ancient beast.
I wonder what would happen if a shadow like Kaido's was put into it instead of Luffy's shadow. The third man in the Roger pirate crew, Gabun, spoke in a low voice, but it was clear that everyone could hear him.
Wahahaha.
That would be interesting to see. I don't think Moria would be able to control this zombie with the shadow of someone much stronger than him. Even Luffy's shadow can still express his dreams and talk to Moria without any effect of weakening in his speech.
Roger was clear at this point. Damn you, Shanks. What's that again?
The confrontation between Buggy and Shanks caught the attention of the crew, who shook their heads helplessly.
I ended up eating a useless devil fruit by your mistake. Look at Moria's devil fruit. Why didn't I end up eating a devil fruit like that? Ha! I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to. Add dollar and...
Buggy's anger rose more than it already was. When he wanted to curse Shanks more, he was stopped by the captain's voice. Buggy, you have a devil fruit that can rival Whitebeard's Quake fruit in terms of damage if it's developed well. I want a devil fruit like the Shadow fruit, a Quake fruit. Buggy's words stopped in his throat when he finally realized what his captain had just said.
Wayawaat.
His red nose bumped to the ground from shock.
Achoo! Returning to the Manga Island, Whitebeard sneezed suddenly. Who's talking about me? Roger? Rob? Or someone else? Well, it doesn't matter.
Whitebeard remembers Rob because of the last trip he made to Ohara 2 weeks ago, where his arrival caused a commotion at that time. Rob welcomed him with a good reception and gave him the information that he came to search for.
The birthplace of his future son, Thatch.
Rob told him that he would find him in North Blue. He didn't know his exact location, but for Whitebeard, it was enough.
Because of that, Whitebeard's impression of Rob became very good, as it wasn't before.
Thus, Whitebeard's trip to West Blue ended and he returned to the New World, but he didn't forget to send some of his sons to search for Thatch in North Blue, or at least Thatch's family if he wasn't born yet.
Little Oars, what have you decided to do, my son? I will help you with anything you want, without any conditions.
The silence was complete when Whitebeard spoke. No one dared to interrupt him. Little Oars Jr. looked down at Whitebeard. Due to his great height, he looked like a towering building among a group of humans. But this didn't prevent him from understanding and accepting what his adoptive father asked of him. Yes, at this stage Whitebeard was already his adoptive father.
And the father of everyone here.
Even the crew members consider themselves the sons of Whitebeard. I want to retrieve the first generation's corpse from the Iceland and give it a proper burial, and I won't allow Gecko Moria to desecrate his corpse.
Can I do that?
His voice was harsh and cold enough to make the birds on the island start a sudden migration. Of course, Whitebeard had already expected such a request, so he answered calmly. You will go to the land of ice in North Blue with Marco and Jozu and the leaders of the 7th and 8th support crews. Your mission is to retrieve Oars' corpse here and return safely. Little Oars Jr.'s eyes welled up with tears when he heard it, and he felt warmth in his heart. His decision to submit to Whitebeard was the right one after all.
Thank you, Oyaji. Elbaf Island. The kingdom of the giants is no longer peaceful as it was before the arrival of the mangas.
Of course, the calm here doesn't mean that there is no turmoil, as the giants are known for their turmoil. Turmoil and daily battles are the giants' way of life. But with the arrival of the mangas, the Elbaf giants who have lived for hundreds of years began to see the world differently. See the world through the eyes of the mangas. The first shock was seeing familiar giants disappear for some time without a trace. In addition to two young giants who went out a short time ago to look for them. The first is Bragi and Dori, and the others are Oimo and Kashiai. After seeing all these exciting events around them in the mangas, everyone in the Kingdom of Giants was relieved about their safety first and then envied their exciting adventures and appearances in the mangas. But now the Kingdom of Giants is agitated because of the appearance of a terrifying ancient giant's corpse, which caused a stir in the New World, even effect on their kingdom at that time. It's him, that beast. He's dead, he's dead. He. The former co-captain of the giant warrior pirates, Gerald, appeared crazy at this moment. At the moment that he saw the corpse of Ors, he began laughing and crying like a madman, as it was clear that he remembered a very bad past regarding this devil giant. Yes, the real name of the ancient giants was the Devil Giant. Chapter 409, a beautiful lady swordsman just arrived with a ton of meat. It is, that beast, dead, it is dead, he. The ground shook under the feet of the old giant Gerald, who lost control of his emotions and his giant body fell to the ground. The sight of Ors return to life, even through the shadow of another person, made his spirit flicker with fear, he who was a giant who didn't know the meaning of fear. What's happening? Village leader, what's the matter? Call the doctor. The sudden collapse of the giant village leader caught the attention of the giant village members and they rushed to support him. The manga book fell to the ground but no one paid any attention to it, they focused their attention only on the injured Gerald. The current situation made them remember the disaster caused by Charlotte Linlin in Elbaf village once. That was the day they lost another wise man, Jorel. After Jorel's death and Charlotte Linlin's expulsion, Gerald became the only wise man in Elbaf village and remained so until today, when the manga One Piece finally reached Elbaf. However, Gerald did not expect himself to discover many wonderful things through this manga. He's not back to life, right? That devil is not back to life, is it not? The giants who came to support Gerald were surprised. What devil? Hadrudin asked with concern in his voice. It was clear that he was worried about the health of the wise man Gerald. Ors? That devil shouldn't come back, he is a moving disaster, he brings destruction to everywhere he goes. Ors? The giants quickly remembered this name because they saw it in the manga One Piece after all. From the general knowledge known in Elbaf, they were not the only giants in this world, there were even giants to a degree that they even appeared as humans in front of them. For example, Ors appeared in the manga as a dead corpse. Tell us, Gerald-sama, about the story behind this giant beast. What did he do 500 years ago to be called the Continent Puller? Not far from the turbulent Warland Sea, where the Elbaf Island is located, in another more turbulent sea, Wano country. As the giants were shocked by the appearance of a historical devil from a relatively close ethnicity to them, the inhabitants of Wano were even more shocked, and the reason, the appearance of their spiritual leader, and the sword god in their hearts, in the manga. Of course, this was not a small event, like the appearance of a member of the Shimatsuki clan in a distant sea, Shimatsuki village in East Blue, or the appearance of a ninja ronin in a group of government's assassins, Komadori of CP9. It was a big event. This was the corpse of the sword god Ryuma who holds the national treasure Shusui in his hand. Even Ryuma's background was mentioned in full by Dr. Hogback. A powerful samurai cut off the head of a dragon to protect his country. This story in particular inspired many manga readers around the world, as people from different seas expressed their admiration for Ryuma, which made the inhabitants of Wano feel happy. In Kuri, the samurais who want to go to sea to search for Moria gather inside the art store. Before going to kill the evil bastard Moria, they will read the complete volume first, right? Finally, after a long wait, this battle is here. Skeleton Brook vs. Ryuma-sama. Before it starts, who do you think will win this battle? Do you even need to ask? It's obvious that the corpse of Ryuma-sama will win.
The looks in the samurai's eyes were passionate for Ryuma even if he was just a corpse in the manga. One Piece events. Well, just like that time pleading, not the afro, not the afro. You'll wind up shamelessly begging me for your life again. Placing his sword on his shoulder, the zombie Ryuma speaks calmly. Brook points to him with his cane before denying. No. That will not cure. Brook regained memories of what happened 5 years ago when he faced the zombie Ryuma for the first time and lost with one blow. Flashback. Brook. I'm sorry. I've lost. I beg you. Let me escape. I'll leave this island immediately so. Ryuma's corpse, then, get out of my sight. Besides, it would be a problem for me too if you died. Brook, Zombie Ryuma cut off Brook's memories recovery, no more pathetic displays. With that, Brook's second battle to regain his shadow began. Say whatever you like, these past 5 years. For this second chance, I've become stronger. The swords collided and sparks flew, a powerful battle between the swordsmen began. Damn it! Why did the fight scene stop and the manga focuses on this perverted guy? Ahaha! Give us the fight scenes back, author-san. The samurais were furious after they had focused all of their attention on the dramatic fight between the shadow owner Brook, who had previously lost in a disgraceful way in the past, and their sword god, the current owner of Brook's shadow, the strongest samurai's corpse, Ryuma. When will someone kill this perverted guy Absalom? I'll be grateful forever. This guy is truly planning to marry Nami when she's lost her conscience. Disaster. This is a disaster. Nami-san is in a crisis, Degozaru. When will I also marry Atsuru-san, too? Is this what you're thinking about, you perverted? I don't see any difference between you and Absalom. In no time, the samurais and the people of Kuritown, and even the Akazaya, forgot about the other districts. They focused on Nami's crisis. The zombies seemed to have completely decorated them. Free of charge. The trio's appearance appeared funny as the zombie had taken advantage of the opportunity to change their faces in a comical way. Ooey! Wake up, you jerks! No time for sleeping. This is a serious situation. Despite Usopp hitting them hard enough to make their heads swell, he was unable to wake them up no matter what he did. Didn't wake up. Frankie, did these guys even feel that? No choice, move over, I'll use bazooka and... Usopp stopped him immediately because he had a good idea. No, that's all right. A beautiful lady swordsman just arrived with a ton of meat. Sanji, beauty. Luffy, meat. Zoro, swordsman. Chopper, they're hopeless. West Blue, O'Hara. Ha 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 ha. Ya ho ho ho. Fufu hiya. Derishishishishi derishishishi. The many people inside and outside the art store continued to laugh in O'Hara at this moment. Whether they were men or women, young or old, giants or dwarves, from different races, everyone who read the manga One Piece until this scene, laughed heavily to a degree they never had before. The shape that the trio, Sanji, Luffy, and Zoro, appeared in, along with the lie that Usopp told to wake them up, caused people to be unable to hold back their tears of laughter. They're really hopeless. Chapter 410, Laboon's Nakama. Suddenly, the loud laughter stopped completely. Within less than 5 minutes all that could be heard were the quiet sounds of the readers breathing. The overall mood inside the art store changed 180 degrees. Of course, this was not without a reason. The reason was deep enough to shake the feelings of even the most ruthless pirates in the world. This description was not necessarily fault. Before that, when the three, Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, woke up, the readers enjoyed their reactions to the loss of their shadows and Sanji's reaction in particular about the issue of Nami's kidnapping. And he was undoubtedly very angry, to the point that his anger turned into a visible burning flame to the naked eye. This scene caused Sora to laugh intensely. This boy who feels an illogical closeness to her still makes her laugh every time. Not only that, but it also makes her feel safe towards him every time he acts like this. But when Frankie began talking about the conversation he had with Brook, here is where the change in overall mood occurred, whether inside or outside the art store. On every island, there is an art store.
Ordinary people, pirates, hunters, or even government officials and Navy soldiers. Where everyone who holds a One Piece volume wants to know the reason for the description of a person like Frankie to a skeleton like Brook as a real man. At first, Frankie was not comfortable with the question of adding this bone structure to the crew. Therefore, he insisted on answering and getting to know it well. And this is understandable, as he fears that an undeserving person may join their excellent crew. With deep eyes bearing mixed emotions, Dr. Vegapunk and Professor Clover looked at Brook, who was reading manga with silent tears. Dr. Vegapunk tried to say something to Brook but hesitated. In the end, all he could do was sigh and continue reading the manga with accumulated feelings. The same thing for Clover, who didn't know Brook well before today, but always believed he was a good person. But not to this degree. He never believed that there was a person with this pure heart in the world. A heart that can keep promises even after death. One Piece events. The result was that I lived for a very long time, alone on that ship. Because I have the long-held obligation to return. Without turning to meet Frankie and Robin, Brook continued speaking. Since the day we died. It's been over 50 years, I suppose. Frankie was shocked to hear such a large number, 50 years. Oi, it was that old of a story. I wasn't even born yet. I'm sorry, but even that guy couldn't have possibly waited such a long time. Brook interrupted him off because he did not agree with his words. Why is it? I know it's possible he isn't waiting, he had the right to leave. But if by some chance he believed in our promise, and he has always been there waiting for us. How lonely would he be right now? He may think we had betrayed him, but if he continued to wait for us there even now, how strong his feeling must be. Frankie was surprised after hearing this powerful talk. Brook continued, the name of the Nakama whom we hoped to meet again on that coast was Laboon. We certainly couldn't take a young whale on a dangerous voyage like ours. I imagine he must have become very big now. Your Nakama was a whale. Frankie was shocked. Yes, said Brook. I can't help but feel that he has believed in us all this time and thinks we might come back, and like always, we would play our cheerful music while waving our arms out to him. I don't think he will forgive us for having died irresponsibly, and because of our selfish promise would tell into the skies if his voice could. That death isn't an apology. Robin. Frankie. Brook continued with a loud voice, because a man once said that they would absolutely come back. Laboon. Did he say Laboon? Oh, my God. So Brook is a member of the Rumbar Pirates. It can't be true. It's unbelievable. The person Laboon has been waiting for all this time is Brook. Wait. Is that the reason why Laboon was happy that day after hearing that man's music? I understand now, it's no wonder, it's not surprising. On that day when Rob built an art store on top of an aircraft carrier in the middle of the Florian Triangle and helped Brook to find it, the desire to fulfill his promise to Laboon by making him meet the last member of the Rumbar Pirates, but the ordinary people in O'Hara didn't know the depth of the story. Only Alvia and other Rob's women and children knew that. That's why the general public considered the strange skeleton to be just a mysterious musician that Rob summoned for entertainment, and that's what happened that day when everyone enjoyed Brook's music. Only when Brook appeared in the manga today, the inhabitants of O'Hara began to doubt this matter. But the current chapter divided the doubt from the certainty and showed them the full truth. The skeleton, Brook, was Laboon's Nakama, who had been mentioned for a long time in the first chapters of the manga. Wow! I can't stop my tears, Woa. Giant Saul wiped his tears repeatedly, where the revelation of Brook and Laboon so far has affected him. As an avid reader of One Piece and a new resident of O'Hara, he was well versed in the epic story of Laboon. In the manga, Laboon had been waiting for 50 years for the crew of Rumbar to fulfill their promise to him. For 50 whole years, he had even tried to break the Red Line to leave the Grand Line and meet his friends again, believing that they might have left the Grand Line and were waiting for him on the other side of the world. In reality, Laboon had waited for 24 whole years for the return of the Rumbar Pirates before Rob had returned him to the West Blue and reunited him with the last surviving member of the Rumbar Pirates. This is a fact known by everyone in the world, as Rob had once publicly declared that he would take care of Laboon and it was forbidden for anyone to approach him. But the full truth about the story of Laboon has always been a mystery for everyone in the world. But with this chapter, it seems that the mystery around Rumbar pirates will be revealed little by little. At the moment, the respect-filled and strong emotional views on the seat where Brooke sits are gathered. Everyone in the art store has one idea in their heart. This skeleton is truly a man. Returning to the island in the Grand Line. All members of Roger's crew looked at the doctor of their ship, Crocus, who was looked in the manga with surprise. Crocus, yo. It seems this is the crew you boarded this ship to search for them. They've already died as we expected, but what we didn't expect is that one of them is still alive. Not only that, but he will become a member of the Straw Hats crew. Wahahaha. This is fun, I've loved this skeleton. Roger laughed. That wraps up this part of What If Becoming a Mangaka in One Piece World. Thanks so much for listening. As always, new parts drop every 4 days, so be sure to stay tuned. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and please consider supporting the original author as well. See you in the next one.